Well, welcome to the beautiful island of Maui, where I'm about to finish a 2-week trip. I've had a chance to do some pretty cool things here, but most interesting to me was a chance to visit and get to meet and learn about Maui Makers, an awesome makerspace here on the island of Maui, and one that does some very cool things.
My name is Paul SABLE, and I'm involved with Maui Makers.
Maui Makers, yeah.
I'm on the board.
Oh, good for you. Yeah.
And I'm got a couple of offices and stuff. I'm the secretary and the facilities manager and the communications committee.
Wow, you got a lot of hats to wear.
I'm busy, yeah.
Well, I want to say that we're at a special event today. We're not actually at the makerspace. We're in a facility owned by the school board here. Is that what we are?
Department of Education.
Yeah,
exactly.
And it's a facility that's used for other community events and for other things too. But
right.
So Paul, this is like a space day for the makerspace, and tell me what what you envision, why this was something that you wanted to put your energy into, spend your time on.
Well, we do a lot of community events. We do like a lot of educational events with 4-H and Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and schools and a lot of different events.
Yeah.
And also adults.
Yeah.
And a couple of times a year we do an event like this.
Yeah.
And we have a whole bunch of things already available and ready to go.
Yeah.
So we have rockets. We have paper rockets.
Yeah. I love it.
We have straw rockets, little straw rockets for the really young kids, made out of straws. And then we have like a marble thing that we have a whole bunch of different like props that we bring that show different physical principles.
And it's the fact that you do it outside of the makerspace is probably an important thing, because your space has some pretty high-end and relatively dangerous tools in it.
That's
so
true.
Probably not a good place to have kids.
Plus, we need an open field to do the rockets.
Yeah.
So it's all air controlled. So there's no fire. It's very safe.
Yeah.
And it's basically you make your own rocket out of paper on these little armatures, and there's a little instruction sheet and everything. So it's really fun. So the whole idea is we raise some money for Maui Makers.
Yeah.
Like almost all the maker spaces are in trouble. We have trouble sustaining ourselves. So we need more members. We need some grants. We need help. But generally, we're in a break-even space right now. So but we have about 25 members. We just changed the membership arrangement so that the people who use the shop more will pay more.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
And we have what's called an advanced or a pro membership. So we're doing that now. And
then you have like a day rate, or is there a day rate?
We have a day rate. $20 a day.
Oh, that's great.
And you can buy like passes, 3 for $50.
Sure. My name is NICOLE, and my project is called The Trailer of Trash. And I am a member of Maui Makers because what I'm doing right now really is prototyping everyday things that we can use out of trash. And then eventually, though, I'll grow them into a business when people are interested and use the tools and such from the makerspace. And I just also believe in the everything being a community-based environment and sharing tools and that sort of thing. So. And then a food truck was throwing away a 10-pound bag of flour, so I got that and turned it into Play-Doh and glue. We've got lots of leftover cardboard that we're turning into Star Wars masks. We just use t-shirts to make the ties for the masks. And then we've got a fix-it station, and that's going to be a bigger program. We're growing that with Maui Makers of just like tinkering and fixing out of the repair kit model that is happening in Amsterdam. And then we've got a bubble station. You and I were just talking about plastic, and we have so many bottles in our kitchens that we can turn into, bubble bottles, and we can make our own wands. So I'm just prototyping a bunch of toys, or, just kind of returning to the time when we used to make our toys instead of go to Target.
A blower that is used for drying floors after a flooding situation. But it has to have a tube on it about that long to be able to collimate the air. And it works amazingly well. That thing just hovering there in space, always trying to find a new stable position, and if it gets hit enough times, it will fall out of orbit. It takes a lot of hits.
I'm head of education here. So what happens is when those two come in, we contact them back and ask what do they really want to do, and then we see if we have something in our repertoire, so that we've also do a beginning soldering class.
Make blinky lights or something like that.
What we do is we do a greeting card.
Oh, nice.
Paper circuits on a greeting card.
Nice, yeah.
So it's a copper trace on the inside. They fold it 3 ways, lights up at the top. They decorate the top 2 layers, and they press the corner, and the light lights up. We call it what lights up your life. We do that for like brownies and Cubs up. We've done it to 7th graders in schools and stuff like that. We're into STEAM more than STEM.
Absolutely.
So we bring the arts in.
Yes, sir.
And that brings in the arts to the electronics. For the older kids, we do surface mount LEDs.
Wow.
And for the younger kids, we do the wired LEDs.
And do you have a reflow oven or something like that?
No, we do it with a soldering iron.
Oh, good.
We have a whole toolbox that we have separated out.
For these kind of events?
I've got 20 soldering irons. They're the $10 soldering irons, but they're adjustable in temperature. Solder, tape, kid scissors in one box.
Solder aids and things like that.
Solder aids and stuff like that. And that stays separate. So I try to have a kit box. Now this is the beginning of the kit box for like an event for last Saturday.
Okay, well, that's wonderful that you have this mission of education. Plus, it's a fundraiser for you because you charge for those kind of events.
We charge for those kind of events.
So for like the Brownie Scouts, just out of curiosity,
we try to keep it at under $10 scout
per head. Yeah.
per head.
Yeah, that's great.
That's about what the market can bear here.
Yeah.
And if they are willing to do things like make copies of the paper or provide some of the duct tape or some of the other easily acquired supplies that in a quantity enough that we get a couple more, we can take it down a little bit, or we can. And then of course with the scouts and the 4-H and that, they typically have leaders that can actually act as chaperones and crowd control.
You mentioned that one of your gigs is being the education coordinator for the space, and right now there's a jewelry class going on in the space. Typically, when you have a class like this, are the people who are students in the class and the instructors, are they typically members of the space, or are they people from outside?
So we're playing something. We're trying something a little new, rather than charge just a little bit for the class. What we are doing, if the class requires tools and support, from the space, and if it's gonna be more than a single shot. So this is a six night class,
Right.
over 6 weeks. So what we did is we charge the students, if they're not a member, a basic membership for a month.
And your basic membership here is?
Our low end membership is $60.
And you have a pro membership too.
We have a pro advanced member, which is $200 right now.
And what's the difference in terms of the feature set for those two memberships?
The feature set is, if you want 24/7, when you're eligible after 3 months, you're on a pro level. If you want welding and stuff like that for large projects, you're on the pro level. If you're going to resaw wood on the bandsaw, you're on the pro level. So my thanks to all the amazing people, very kind people who hosted me at Maui Makers. To end this video, I want to include another clip of Nicole, who we met earlier, who was the trailer of trash organizer for Maui Makers. One of the things that she and I talked about, and I think one of the more challenging things for a makerspace to do, is to build a social organization to deal with the community aspects of makerspaces, and I really enjoyed this chat I had with Nicole about that.
Including Maui Makers, I help a lot of people. Companies, organizations, community groups, really find out how to become the community. Like a lot of times, especially even in makerspaces too, in tech, we grow fast, and we grow beyond the pace of humans, really. And all of a sudden, we've got a lot of really cool things, but we don't have the humans to kind of keep it going. And so, I help find what that homeostasis is.
And I think that makers, the maker spaces tend to attract people sometimes who are a little more solitary, a little less socially enabled.
Right, and so there's pathways for everybody, and I help listen for what those are, who's going to fit where, and I actually help people design for one of the one constants that we can rely on, which is change. And that if we build kind of our community structures around how our lives move up and down, and we can move in and out of our spaces and work with each other to trust communication, and that it'll all be okay and it won't go away. And so I'm helping Maui Makers do that right now.
And best practices, are there best practices you can just call out, any that come to mind for maker spaces in general?
I think communication's huge. Even as like a member, communicating, I'm going to be gone. I mean, we're on an island, so communicating, I'm going to be off island for a month. So they know you just didn't disappear. Our minds say like, oh, I haven't seen that person. Oh, they must not be interested anymore. We make a lot of assumptions. So communicating where you are, having like a one place to put that is a really good tool.
Like an in and out board, basically.
Yeah, it is like an in and out board. And then I think just giving yourself time. So if you think a project's going to take a month, double it. If you want to get volunteers coming in and you need them to come in a month's time, or something's going to happen, give yourself 2 months time, because everybody's lives is really busy, especially if you've got a lot of members that have families or businesses. Everything's good when you're in the community space and moving at the human pace, which is 3 miles per hour. Everything takes longer.